Could you tell me a bit about your involvement with Rapture and what we can expect from the perspective that you bring?
Sure. Well, it's 8 different directors. I directed the Just Blaze episode, which is a behind-the-scenes look at how beats are made in hip-hop. He was Jay-Z's most prominent producer. He takes us kind of a whirlwind tour of beats across the country, people who inspired him, people that he's mentoring, and we really get to see what happens in the studio, how these stars are born.
Okay. And from a production side, I mean, Just Blaze coming up with Rockefeller, yeah, how much has he added to the culture, especially as such a prominent producer and also someone who's branched out as well into EDM world?
Yeah, exactly. He's completely branched out. He's super diverse. You know, he grew up on house music in Paterson, New Jersey. So, hip-hop just became a movement, and he said, I'm going to get part of this. But in his core is a whole different genre. And so now you see him moving back into EDM and going back to his roots. So I think his last 20 years were Rockefeller. His next 20 are unpredictable and exciting, I think, to see what he's going to do.
Okay. And what most about his story did you want to capture as a director?
That's actually what I wanted to capture was, he's built a dynasty, now what? What's his next move? His last 20 were strong, he built his name, his foundation. What does a producer do at this stage in their life?
Yeah. And I guess it's a microcosm for hip-hop and that it's bigger than hip-hop and these people are entities and owners and entrepreneurs of their own brand.
It is. I mean, for him it's inspiration. He'll keep deducing it to he just needs to stay inspired. He'll never stop as long as he's inspired, and so you see him scoring video games, scoring movies, doing EDM, collaborating with artists that you'd never expect. So, he's like the coolest nerd I've ever met, and I was happy to work on it.
And what has working with him taught you as someone, as a director? What has it taught you about hip-hop?
It's a great question. I think I just learned that the behind the scenes, behind all the kind of the champagne and the chains, is some extremely talented technical engineers who are crafting this. They're puppeteers of the music that we've been shaking our butts to for 25 years. So it's great to see how much science and intellectual property and how much work and research goes into these beats that we hear in the club. It's not just an overnight thing that they're doing. Although some of his best hits were done in a day.
Yeah.
So.
And to people who say, the ignorant people who say hip hop's not real music, what is this going to show them?
Oh, this is going to show them that this is a process built on. I mean, this guy is a musicologist. He studied every genre of music, and he puts all that into his beats and into what he's doing. Yeah, it's a complete science. It's a collaboration. He's definitely not an island, and he's very, very open about that. Yeah. So, yeah, I think people are going to learn a lot. I think particularly this episode, which is much more behind the music, taking the veil off, it's a different expose than seeing the superstar on stage.
Nice.
And everyone should know what goes into it.
Awesome. Thank you. We can't wait to see it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.